Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, the movie and now TV show that inspires children around the world to shoot lightning out of their fingers. If you've ever stepped outside, which you probably haven't, you would know who this guy is and his millions of doppelgangers who just stepped out of Genshin. But those obstacles will not stop me in my path because today we'll be going word for word, bar for bar, for your favorite middle school novel, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief by Rick Riordan. If you know nothing about Greek mythology, I suggest watching this video down below by Jake W. It's called Greek Mythology Explained. Or you could be a geek, like me. We're introduced to 12-year-old Percy Jackson when he's currently enrolled in Yancey Academy, school for troubled teens, and it's actually a boarding school. Currently, his school is at the Metropolis Museum of Art for a field trip. But currently, our main character is in a predicament when they're just about to leave the museum. You see, Nancy Bobofet, aka the bully Yancey Academy, is throwing her half-eaten sandwich bits at Grover. Wait, no, wrong one. This one. Yes, this Grover. Now some of you might be asking, who is this Grover guy? I mean, we just met him. You see, Grover Underwood is Percy's best and only friend at Yancey Academy. And Grover has a medical note regarding any physical activity in gym class. And he's dangerously addicted to cheese enchilada. Anyways, Percy's so mad, he does this to Nancy. But if you look very closely, Percy never actually touches Nancy Bobofet. And sadly, in questioning, Grover says this.
Do you have anything to add?
Yes, I do.
Go on.
Percy had told me earlier in the day that he wanted to get back at Nancy for all she'd done to us. And he isn't being truthful about what happened at the fountain.
Excuse me. Are you saying you saw Mr. Jackson assault Miss Bobofet?
Yes, I did.
Anyways, Miss Dodds, his pre-algebra teacher, calls him over and wants to talk to him. But she starts acting very aggressive. And she turns into one of those, minion things from Clash Royale. And Mr. Brunner, his Latin teacher, tosses him a ballpoint pen. And when uncapped, it turns into a sword. And in a couple of slashes, Miss Dodds is now smoke and dust.
Drum began to swing. You should have heard the lockdown jailbird sing.
Okay, now things for Percy Jackson aren't exactly looking up. Because whenever you ask someone, they say that Miss Kerr, some random person Percy's never seen in his life, is their real math teacher. And Grover doesn't convince him, proving that something really did happen on the day of that museum. The weather keeps on getting worse for Percy Jackson, and so do his grades. He keeps on getting in more fights with Nancy Bobofet and his gangs, and stays out in the hallways most of class. He finally stops when his teacher asks him why he's always so lazy, and he finally calls him an old sot. Right later that week, Percy's mom received a letter saying that he will not be welcome to Yancey Academy next year. Standardized testing is coming up, and he wanted to go ask Mr. Brunner, his Latin teacher, for some help. But instead, he sees Grover and Mr. Brunner in the office talking about something. Percy can't help but eavesdrop and sees a tall, slender figure, much taller than your average wheelchair-wielding old man. He runs out of there in shock and sees Grover inside his dorm room, acting like nothing happened, and reminds him that his Latin test is tomorrow. Sadly for Percy, after that, Mr. Brunner asks him to come back and says that it was good that he's going to be out of Yancey Academy next year, because he's apparently not normal. Percy takes that wrong and storms off. On the bus on the day of the last semester, Percy and Grover start talking about what he saw, and Grover hands him a business card. He asks why he might want to contact him, but Grover says that it's his duties because he is Percy's protector. Percy obviously asks protector from what, but before he can answer that, the bus breaks down, Once everyone exits the bus, right next to the fruit stand, he sees three old ladies. But the middle lady looks directly at him and takes out her golden shears and cut yarn. Outside, Percy tells Grover what he saw, and Grover starts freaking out. Until Percy says, "Grover, does that mean somebody's gonna die?" and hands him a grim expression. When Grover needs to use the washroom, Percy ends up abandoning him and taking a taxi home instead. During this taxi ride, we're introduced to three new main characters. Percy's mom, Sally Jackson, Percy's stepdad, Smelly Gabe, and we don't really know anything about his real dad, but the only memory he has is a bright light shining over his cradle. They say he's lost at sea. Percy's dad asks for money to go gambling, which I highly do not recommend, which he reluctantly hands over and storms off into his room, until his mom comes down and tells him that they're going to go to Montauk. Before leaving, Gabe tells Percy not to scratch his car. And when they get there, they do their usual cleaning routine and feed Blue food to the wildlife. Apparently, him and his mom have a running joke about Blue food, and by the bonfire, Percy gets some insane lore drops on his family and his childhood. Basically, back by the cabin and when he's sleeping, he has a dream about a white horse and an eagle fighting. When he wakes up, it turns out it's a hurricane. Before they seek shelter, they see Grover at the door, knocking, and asks him what happened. Percy reluctantly tells his mom about Miss Dodds and the three ladies, and when Percy looks down at his best friend's feet, he sees that they're just furry, cloven hooves.